All right. It is Thursday, May the 7th. Let's find out some more about what happened to Emil Emu, Eliza Emu, and the wonderful wedding. So get your word building pace, number 10, and turn it to page 3 and follow along with me as we read our story and find out what's happening. They're in a wedding, aren't they? Let's find out. Emil Emu knew he couldn't go home in the sleet without his boots, so Emil Emu went bravely back to Ezekiel Church to get his boots. Emil Emu was glad to see that Miss Edith was there. Miss Edith was going to be married in the church tomorrow. Miss Edith walked Emil Emu safely home in the early evening. Before Emil Emu could believe it, it was time for Miss Edith's wedding. What a cheery day for the families and all their friends. What a happy day at Ezekiel Church. The Ezekiel Church was all ready for the wedding. Emil Emu could see beautiful plants and flowers around the church. Emil Emu could see 2 tall candle holders, too. Each tall candle holder had 3 lovely candles in it. First, the preacher came to stand with the groom. So look at page 6. The tall candle holder, a candle with the 3 candles in it. There's the preacher. There's Miss Edith. There's the groom. Who do you think that is? That's Emil, the ring bearer. I bet that's Eliza, the flower girl. They're at the wedding. First, the preacher came to stand with the groom. The groom was dressed in a white suit. Emil Emu had on a little green suit. Emil Emu carried a fancy, lacy pillow. The fancy, lacy pillow had the bride's and groom's wedding rings tied on it. Emil Emu was the ring bearer. "Isn't Emil doing a good job?" whispered everybody. Daddy Emu and Mommy Emu just beamed as Emil Emu walked by. Emil Emu's little sister, Emil Emu's wee sister, his little sister, Eliza Emu, wore a lovely little peach-colored dress. Boys and girls, peach is a pink and orange color. It's not pink and it's not orange, it's in between. Eliza Emu carried a basket of teeny-weeny flower petals. She sprinkled the teeny-weeny flower petals on the floor. Then everybody turned to see the bride. Miss Edith was coming to stand by the groom. "Oh, lovely, beautiful, oh, isn't it?" said all the families in their company as the bride came walking by. Miss Edith's dress was snowy white. The bride's fancy dress had lacy, puffy sleeves. The bride carried a bouquet of daisies and ribbons. Best of all, Miss Edith was wearing a shining smile. A lady singer sang a sweet song in her booming emu voice. Boys and girls, emus have big voices, you know. Then the preacher began to help the bride and groom make very important promises to each other and to God. The bride and groom promised to love each other for keeps, forever. Ooh, look at page 7. Oh. Who is this? Emil. See, this is the lacy pillow with the bride's ring and the groom's ring. He's got on his green coat. But just as the preacher began to speak, Emil Emu saw a wee sparkle of light. Emil Emu looked down at the ring bearer's pillow. Oh no! One of the rings had come untied. One of the rings was rolling around on the lacy pillow. Emil Emu almost let out an emu screech. But Emil Emu did not make a peep. Shh. He did not make a peep. Emil Emu's eyes got bigger, bigger, and bigger as he watched the shiny ring roll and roll. The ring rolled off the pillow and onto the floor. Eliza Emu almost giggled out loud when she saw the rolling ring. But Eliza Emu did not even let out a peep. She was quiet. Just then, the bride and groom were kneeling down to pray with the preacher. Soon they would need the rings. "I will lead in prayer," said the preacher. Just as Emil Emu bowed his head, the rolling ring rolled right back to Emil Emu's feet. As quick as an emu, Emil Emu stuck out his big toe and stopped the rolling ring. Emil Emu quickly picked up the ring, and Emil Emu breathed a thankful sigh. The bride and groom got up off their knees. Emil Emu smiled as he handed the rings to the preacher, just at the right time. Then the preacher said joyfully, "Please meet Mr. and Mrs. Egan." Soon Emil Emu and his family got to meet Mr. Egan. The new Mrs. Egan gave Emil Emu and Eliza Emu a sweet kiss on their beaks. "Thank you, Emil Emu and Eliza Emu," said Mrs. Egan. "Thank you for being the ring bearer and the flower girl for our wedding." Emil Emu smiled a big smile. "Miss Edith, excuse me, I mean Mrs. Egan. Jesus really helped me do a good job." Look at page 8. Oh, the favorite thing. Cake. Treats at a wedding. Who is that? Emil Emu. He's got his piece of cake, doesn't he? Look at page 8. Follow along with me. "It is now refreshment time, everybody," called Mommy Emu. Mommy Emu was cutting the emu wedding cake. There is a special recipe for emu wedding cake. Emu wedding cake is made of peeled peaches. It even has cherries on top. What a tasty treat. Boys and girls, remember, the emus like fruit. They love fruit, you know. Emil Emu enjoyed eating emu wedding cake. Emil Emu was so happy. Suddenly, Emil Emu looked up at some of the emus standing nearby. Emil Emu could hardly believe what he was seeing. Tears were coming down their cheeks and beaks. "Daddy Emu, Mommy Emu," whispered Emil Emu. "Why would these emus be crying and weeping? Why don't all these emus seem happy?" "Why do you think they're crying?" Well, you'll have to come back tomorrow on Friday to find out the rest of the story.